Welcome to the On Stage podcast, where we interview musicians and members of the entertainment community. So, everyone, welcome to another Christmas episode. We have in the right corner to my left is Jay Steve, and we're going to do the Brady Bunch thing. Below me is Ethan Hickey. Now, about him, he is from Covington, Louisiana, and he goes to LSU, and he's been doing music for 6 years because he got inspired watching his cousin make beats. And he says he always loved music since he was a child. And he used to learn all the words to Eminem songs. My favorite one is Stan.
It's a fact.
And I remember that he and his friend Logan would write raps. And his friend Logan appears on his EP twice. And he started recording with his cousin while he was still in high school. Now, instead of just sharing his entire testimony because it's already done. Um, so first, let's ask, hey Steve. So what's been happening with you in the world of music besides Ethan? How's Goodland? Do you have any others under your umbrella?
Actually, it's funny you mentioned Goodland. He's not doing stuff in the forefront, but he's still doing things in the back. So like for the instrumentals and the beats that I've been doing for some singers, like Sage is a singer that I'm started working with. He put some bass licks, to a couple of beats that I needed. So we got together and made. So I made a beat and I needed a bass lick, sent it to him, and Goodland's pretty good with the guitar, so got that from him. And also, you probably seen the video when I was in the studio with Ethan, the one that I posted a while back, a few months ago with Alea. So that's another one that kind of still is in the works as well. So she had to take a break a little bit due to school, but she's finishing up the semester, finishing up, so she'll be getting back at it. And Sage is already starting to write to some things. So that's what I got on my plate now. Just continue to try to make some music for some of these artists here.
So you think Goodland's going to go back to music at some point?
Oh, I'm sure he will, but he's doing, with a little bit how busy he is at the moment. He's kind of just now sticking with, helping putting like some licks together, some, helping out with the instrumentals, with the beats and putting it together. So he's still got his credit and name put out there. So whenever there's a beat made, bass lick done by Goodland, bass guitar.
Yeah.
So it's I still use them. I'm still using them. He's not getting away from me that fast. I'll tell you that.
Oh, definitely. So thank you so much for being on our platform again. Last time we spoke, Jay Steve was with Goodland, as we mentioned sometime last year. Now we have a new member of your team here, of your group, a new singer-songwriter, Ethan Hickey. Ethan, can you give us a little bit of a backstory of who you are, where you were brought up, and everything about Logan and making music, and what brought you to this position?
So I'm from Covington, Louisiana. I'm in Baton Rouge right now. Kind of got inspired by my cousin, like you said. He goes by Undefined. He was doing a lot of great work with like Detroit rappers and stuff. And I remember just like going to his house, watching him make beats and stuff. And I wanted to start recording. And that was about the time that we started like recording on our iPhones. We were making songs like on Rap Chat, one take the whole way through, and it was awesome. The whole school was listening to it, And I was like, I want to start recording with Evan, Undefined. So we started making songs, and then it just kind of fell in love after that. Started getting my own equipment to start recording myself. And then eventually I wanted to learn how to mix it myself, right? Instead of sending it all to him to mix. So that's when I kind of started getting into engineering and stuff like that. Yeah, it's been great. Me and Logan have made many songs together, and we will continue to do that. And he's awesome. his lyrics is just on another level. So it's fun working with him. So
That's awesome to hear that. So, did that song, Steve, that you sent me, did you start working with Ethan on that one? Or Ethan, were you able to do that writing? Like, what's your song process? How did it come to be?
so me and Steve have yet to do a song together. So I need to get some beats from Steve
Oh,
and,
that will happen.
get on
Believe
those.
that will happen.
It will.
Don't think I
And
haven't thought about that.
I'm still waiting on that. That's in the works. You know, we gonna get it. But um so I'd say when it comes to Logan, he definitely will write everything out. Me, I'm kind of just now starting to get into writing more because I feel like I can really express myself in a different way than what I usually do, which would be freestyling, where I go line for line, kind of punching in. That's what I've done like since I started pretty much, but I'm just now kind of getting more into writing and really trying to put more meaning into the songs.
Yeah, and that one is very interesting. I really enjoyed listening to it. It's got this sort of 80s and 90s vibe to it.
Yeah, so I just released an EP. It's called Lately. I released it about a month ago. So that's on all platforms. If you want to check it out. But yeah, I like releasing EPs because I feel like I can just get a whole variety of songs in there, and I have a lot of songs. So um, I like just making a lot of songs, and then I'll pick like the best 5, 6, or 7, and then drop those.
That
Yeah,
song
what
that
do
you
you
heard is actually on his EP, I think. I mean, that's all part of that whole EP.
Yeah. Was it Testing My Energy? That's the one with
Yeah,
Loco.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That, that was a cool one. Yeah. That was fun. That's one of the ones where I had punched in line for line on, you know. And Logan always writes his stuff, and he's like a lyrical genius. He's so good. And he actually
Yeah.
has an EP coming out soon too. So
Oh, okay. That's good. I'd like to hear about Logan and as an undefined. Yeah. Okay, it's fine. Ethan, so who are your main inspirations? Like, what groups do you like listening to? Because your song "Testing My Energy" has like a summertime feel, sort of like a '80s feel.
that's interesting. I'd say probably the Kid Leroy is my biggest inspiration.
Mm.
I love his music. It resonates with me so much. He might be part of the reason I wanted to get into recording because I think admiration for an artist is a big reason many people might start making their own music, kind of just getting inspired by it and wanting to create something that they like similar to it. Right now, Zach Bryan is a big inspiration. Been listening to his stuff. Um,
Oh, wow.
who else? Those are like my big two right now, for sure. And Rod Wave is a big inspiration too. Rod Wave's awesome.
Well, anyway, so love the album, Ethan. I love the song Daisy. I love the song Home on a Sunday. Um, I was talking to many musicians and I asked them if their songs have to do with experience. So, can you give me an experience where Testing My Energy was written?
Oh yeah, that was a cool session. So my friend Chris was there. It was Logan, and it kind of in a way is Logan's song. He had wrote the song, started the song and stuff. And I think I was like just getting back from work or something like that, and I heard it, and he wanted me on it, right? So uh, I heard his verse, and then I was like, okay, I hear like a cool little. I have an idea, right? So the little pitch down, little segue into my verse. I was like, all right, I got to do this, right? So um, I pitched myself down and I started saying bars, and then um, it might be hard to tell what I'm saying, but um, yeah, it was that, and then I went into my verse and I punched on that one. So it was kind of just I start with like a melody, I'll kind of like hum it out, and then I'll find the words. So I found my melody and then I'll put words to it. and I've been doing that like since I started. So it's kind of I kind of get it pretty quickly sometimes, especially when I'm inspired. It's easier to find a melody. Like usually it'll just come right to me, and then I could put words to it. But yeah, I love that song. It's a great song. I'm glad I put it out.
It's a great song. Um, and the song Last One, is there experience or history behind that one?
Absolutely. So that was with it's about a girl, right? Um
Those are
and
always
I
good
was
inspiration.
a big theme of the EP is like lately I wanted to kind of put like what I'm going through currently, like give you a peek into my life kind of, and just be as genuine as possible. And I do that with a lot of songs, and I want to give like the listener an idea of what I'm going through. So I was really trying to I was talking about a girl, and I was telling her how I felt, saying you're better than my last one, right? And
Mm.
then I also addressed my concerns going into the relationship in the verse, if you listen to the verse. But yeah, I wanted to just be genuine and just give an idea of what I'm going through. And I like that aspect too, because it's something that I can look back on one day and like remember where I was at that point in time. It's kind of a beautiful thing. That's a big reason why I like music too, is because it's timeless and it lasts forever. And it's like a document. It's like documenting your life kind of. So
Are you
I got a
sure,
question.
Ethan, that Daisy isn't the last one? Just kidding.
I have a question. Does
Go
the
ahead.
does the girl know the song was about her? That you wrote the song about her?
she does. She does.
Oh, okay.
She does.
So
Yes.
talking through his lyrics, Chris.
All right. Which
This is
which is risky. Like I don't know if you should be letting them know it's about them. Maybe you should let them question, is this about me? But
How does it feel to have a song released on a major platform? Like,
feels
what
good.
feeling do you get? Daisy, or testing my energy. How does it feel? Like, do people say you're famous now? Sort of like the
No.
cliche. You're famous now.
I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking before you release it because you want people to like it, obviously. But it feels good to not have it anymore in a way. Like it feels good to not be holding on to it. Like just to get it out and be able to move on from it. It's a good feeling.
Steve, so I want to ask, how did you find Ethan, and why did you desire to take him under your wing?
Um, I'm gonna tell you, it's very kind of interesting actually. I was getting ready to start. I was with Leia, the artist I mentioned before, and around May, I started kind of dealing with her. So kind of sent her some music, and she was like, "Oh, all right, yeah, she ready to write to it." And so around July, I figured I was like, man, look, usually I have somebody record with me, but she was in Shreveport, New Orleans, and I was like, look, um, you can um we can have like where we can meet at a neutral spot. And Baton Rouge is between, Lafayette where I am and New Orleans where she was gonna be at. And so I was like, well, look, so instead of you coming all the way down here, or I'm driving all the way down there, find somewhere neutral. So I was looking around some studios in Baton Rouge, and I was like, look, um, I, depending on what kind of studio I want to go to, 'cause I'm like, look, I know what I want to produce. I know what I'm doing when it comes to produce. I just need a sound engineer. That's pretty much they can get the mixing going while I do what I got to do, because it helps make things go a little faster than me having to do the mixing and all that, and also while I'm trying to produce. And so, I called around. I messaged a few, and there was it was between this one, the one he with Ethan, and there was another one. And he messaged me back first. He was like, hey, whatever. Said, what you need, this and that. And about the same time he messaged me, another one had messaged me and said, oh yeah, we'll get you for like about $150, $200, to do everything. I was like, bump that. I was like, you know what? I got my man Ethan right here. I was like, well, I didn't know his name yet at the time. I was like, well, let me keep communicating with him, and that's how we kind of started. I was like, hey, you free during this time? I got an artist that I need just to get him to do some recording. And he was like, oh yeah, cool. We figured out a date, and that's when we came down, and that's when we started working together. Which
That
I
was a great
found.
session too.
Yes,
that session was awesome.
And were you nervous, Ethan, having someone like Steve, or having someone to, as you would say, follow after?
Maybe a little nervous just because it was R&B, and that was my first time recording R&B. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be different. But it was a magical session. It was awesome. Like, she killed it. It was a great song that she made. So, and it was your beat too, and it was fire.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, look, it's R&B, and I know, and I'm sure he did hip hop or something like that before. And I was like, look, just let you know it's R&B. And I think he had told me it'll be your first time doing R&B. I think he had mentioned that. And that's why I was trying to say, don't worry, man. Look, it's just do your thing. It's gonna be all right. It's almost the same as any other song, just different. But he said he wanted to try, to try something else, to challenge himself also with something else. I was like, that's cool.
Right.
And when we was in there, Ethan, and then what I liked about Ethan while I was there, is that he had, I always, I can envision some things as well, while I'm in there. I'm like, okay, look, also let's do this, and this. And when he came, there was one part, I don't know if he remembers this. There was a part later on in the song, and he said, this would sound really cool with, they had the voices coming back and forth, speaking to each other, at the end. I don't know if he remembers that. It was at the bridge. It was the last, it was not really the bridge. It was the last part before the last chorus. And he came with that, and I was like, yeah, it was just, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling that. So I was like, oh yeah, I think the juices were really flowing in there.
That sounds like an incredible story there. How you met Ethan and the song. Excellent. So, Ethan, you mentioned that you played Eminem songs and your friend Logan. So, what Eminem songs were you playing? You mind me asking?
So it's funny. I would like learn all the words to them, right? To where I could just rap them the whole way through. Cinderella Man was a big one. Till I Collapse. Probably the one with him and Dr. Dre. I remember watching that over and over. Which one was that? I Need a
Eminem and Dr.
Doctor.
Dre.
What's the song that says, I need a doctor to wait?
Yeah.
It's the one with him and
not
Dr.
talking
Dre.
Well, he did a couple of them, yeah, but you're not talking about Still Dre or the one with everybody always got something to say until there was I think that was one of his first ones he did with Dre. It came out like in 2000 or 99. Is that what you're talking about?
No. I wasn't really on the old stuff. I was on that all his new stuff at the time, and it was great stuff. Rap God, that verse was crazy.
Really, really difficult song to do. So I don't know how you attempted that.
Yeah, that verse he goes fast. He's a legend. But yeah. I think he's what got me into rap. Really, he is what got me.
You talking about Eminem?
Yeah.
Well, who would you like to collaborate with if you could?
Wow. What a question. Huh. That's tough. Right. I don't know. I haven't.
Would it be Eminem? If Eminem gave you a call?
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a dream. That's a dream, you know. Um, Probably the Killer
How you
Roy
feel about
too.
Jack Harlow? How you feel about him?
Big fan. Big fan. 100%.
Like, uh, I feel that's one of the things that he's real. He's another one that's hot right now. That I sometimes feel like he gets credit, but he doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
Sometimes that he deserves that he gets. So he's a good talented one too.
I was listening to a bunch of his stuff last night, actually.
Yeah.
You know, he's great. He's really good. I would definitely collab with him. That'd be amazing. In a heartbeat, you know?
Jack Harlow.
What
It's gonna
what
happen.
if Taylor Swift or Britney Spears or any of those other female artists said, "I want to do a duet with Ethan Hickey"? Where's the guy? Come on, where are you, Ethan? Let's do it. So who would that be? Taylor Swift?
Like
Would
a
it
pop
be
singer?
any pop singer you can choose?
Hmm.
Yeah, be careful with Taylor Swift. She might make a song about you. Things go wrong.
Yeah, I can
Oh.
imagine the title of it too.
That was Kelsey and Ethan.
I want a song with Alea. That's who I want a song with.
That would
Then how
actually
about
be a
you?
nice collab. R&B and rap.
How about you, Steve? Who would you want to have under your ring? I mean, under your wing, who was like, she's famous, and she said, "You know what? I had enough of these managers, producers. I want J. Steve." Who would that be that says, "I want J. Steve"?
Who? A female artist?
Anybody, female, male, whatever.
Oh man, Phew. Before I used to say K Michelle and Keisha Cole. I used to say that, but now more newer ones. You know, I don't know if you heard of Victoria Monet. Is that how you say her name? Or but as for pop wise, Ariana Grande.
Mm,
If
yeah.
I would definitely do some stuff with her. Um, and this might be a stretch, but Doja Cat as well, and what's her name? Lupa, Ella Lupa.
Dua
Is that how you say
Lipa.
her name?
Dua
Yeah,
Lipa.
yes.
Dua
I would
Lipa. Yeah,
definitely do
That's a
some.
good one.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll definitely do some music with her as well. I like her style as well. So, yeah,
that's awesome.
She
that's a
makes
few people.
hits. She's a hit maker.
Yes, dance
Yeah,
music, pop. She puts a lot of energy into her music. I like it.
people may not agree with me, but I certainly wouldn't mind doing a duet with Shakira. Actually, I'd love to.
Oh yeah, that's another good one too as well. I think she got back into doing music after a while recently. I think she have an
Yep.
album coming out, but yeah, she's
Yep.
um she's another one where she is like no matter when she comes out with music, it always just like always pops with her.
Oh, that's
She's
cool. Yeah,
never out of style, if that's the right word.
I know. Ethan, so if it wasn't music, what would you be doing then? What would you be pursuing?
Hmm. Probably trying to own my own business of some sort. I was about to actually do a t-shirt company with my friend Mike called New
Mm,
Image,
mm,
but I don't know if it's happening anymore because our schedules are tough. He's someone I work with. He's a chef at the restaurant I'm at, and but now I'm invested. I actually invested into another t-shirt company called Wonder Clothing. It's a clothing company, not just t-shirts, but it's called Wonder Clothing, and they got some sick stuff. Like the owners are super cool. They go to LSU, and yeah, I want to shout them out. Shout out Wonder Clothing. But yeah, I'd probably be doing like just business stuff, like trying to be a business owner or invest in businesses, that type of stuff. for
Ethan,
sure.
that's amazing. I know you want to be like Damon Johns with his own clothing company. You want to be a multi-billionaire selling
Yes,
clothes, and you want to be a sharp probably as well,
nothing less.
or
Yes.
Dragon's Den.
I got a question for
Ethan
you, Chris.
Hickey, billion
I got a
dollar
question for you.
man. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I got a question for you, Chris.
Hmm.
Are you still working on music? I remember we had this conversation last time. You was doing a little music too, a little bit.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be releasing a song soon. It's sort of a Christmas song, but I decided that by the time I release it, it won't be Christmas anymore. I'm thinking of releasing maybe a cover song, a musical.
Okay.
Um, she used to be mine by the Waitress musical. She used to be
Mm-hmm.
mine, but I haven't decided yet. So I did find, believe it or not, I know this is about Ethan. It's an Ethan podcast, not a Chris podcast. So I found my lyrics that I wrote back in '86 of a song.
Oh
One
wow.
is called one is called
Woo!
one is called All Creation, and this one here is called I Want to Be Free. So this is from my
I
with my
want to
friend
be
Bill.
free.
Can we get a little demo?
Yeah, I'm going to find one that. Well, okay. Well, let me tell you about the one song. I think. Okay, it's one of the pages over there. This one song is called "I Wanted Her," and this is kind of silly, but my family started laughing when I started singing this, and I was a little immature. And if I were to release it, it wouldn't be called "I Wanted Her" because that's sort of like, oh, this guy was like some sort of beep deviant or something, right? Um, but what it is it goes, I saw her on the park bench and I noticed her immediately. I wanted her so badly. And that's like, okay, what does he want her for? So the whole thing is about wanting her and doing this to her and whatever. And it was, I wanted her badly. I wanted her now. I wanted her to hold my hand, and stuff like that. It was like
Wow.
ridiculous. I wouldn't even I would not even release it today. I would just change the lyrics so it's like, I need her badly after our relationship broke up, and something that people can,
Yeah.
you know, follow. But I also have a Christian
Was
song
this
here called "I
based on
Want."
somebody real?
I'm sorry.
Was this based on somebody real? Like Daisy? It was like a Daisy?
Well, I don't have anybody who's the last one. After that, it's like life goes on. When you end up in the same place you were before you met, right?
Right?
Um, yes. So another one here I have is called All Creations, and this other one called Ode to the Unsaved Dead is about people who die without knowing God. So that was an interesting one.
Mm,
But
Wow.
that's deep.
should I be going to a songwriting course? Should I be taking a songwriting course? Because when you look at the lyrics, like I can scan them and send them to you, but they're ridiculous, like
Well, that was from
one
back in
line,
the day, right?
yeah, one line called
It was the 80s.
into my
Everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
into my life. It says, I'm wondering about my life. I'm wondering about my life and those memories. It's like really
I don't think
ridiculous.
you
I was
should.
only
I
like,
don't think you have to go to school necessarily
No,
for
you don't.
the
You don't.
songwriting. Because look, it comes out better when, and I say this to all the artists, it's like it comes out easier and you're more comfortable when it's based off of real. You just speak about something that's real life, man. It comes down real. It just comes down easy. I mean, you can find a way to rhyme it here and there. The structure of it. Kind of just got to figure out. But as for what you're gonna say, just say how it is, man. You
And
make a
there's
whole
beauty
song.
in
I
it.
can write a song about going to Walmart and back.
yeah, that's true. But I wouldn't write a song called Walmart though, even though
No, I mean,
Weird
unless
Al,
you fell in love
Weird Al
with
Yankovic,
Walmart.
like, yeah. Um,
But there's definitely beauty in it, just the way it is, because you
Oh
wrote it.
yeah.
yeah.
So
So, what is one message you like to give to your fans?
Hmm.
how do I go about doing what you're doing? What is the first word of advice you give them?
I really believe that anybody can do it. I would say just practice. Like anybody can do it. If you ever heard Ed Sheeran's first song, you would realize, wow, that Ed Sheeran's first song was horrible. You know, all it takes is practice, like with singing, with songwriting, with everything. So I think everybody could be an artist and everybody has a message that they could share. And I just want my message to help somebody in some way. That's a big thing for me. And yeah, it's just that you can do it too. 100%.
How about you, Ethan? You play the electric guitar, right?
A little bit, not really. So Undefined, he does most of the stuff, most of the guitar stuff for me. But he actually gave me a guitar, an electric guitar, and I've been trying to learn it. But I'm not dedicated enough to it to actually be successful. But in the future, I definitely want to be able to play. You know, I could play a few songs, but nothing crazy. You know,
Yeah.
It's always
So
good to
how do you?
have real instruments. That helps out.
definitely.
Yeah. So how do you
Yeah.
deal with your mental health when you need to just take a little break and just do something apart from music? Like, what do you do to get your mental health work and fixed? And
That's a great question. There's definitely times where I feel like breaks are necessary. Um, and I think just like reflecting on everything is big. Um, I do it a lot, and you want to be in a good headspace when you're making music for sure. That's a really hard question. You know, that's a great question. Um, I wish I could really put into words. It's hard to put it into words, really. You know, but yeah, that I have plenty songs where I was just in a bad headspace and they turn out so just, like, emotional, which is good in a way because you kinda get to get it out, but to even make a song, you need to have an understanding of, like, what's going on in your head a little bit because it's a reflection of yourself. So, you really gotta be reflecting on everything and then go in so you know what you can really say, how you feel. That's a big part of being an artist is understanding how you feel about things and being able to portray it. So that's something I'm working on. That's always been hard for me to really like understand how I feel about stuff or put into words how I feel. And it's so important as an artist to have that. So I've been just reflecting more, I guess.
when you're talking about headspace, do you think there's a correlation between sex, drugs, and rock and roll?
Yes. Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like that.
definitely drugs for sure. Uh can put you in a bad headspace. I definitely can see that. And I don't I don't partake for that reason, you know? But for some people, it's good in certain ways, but for some people, it's not good for them.
If the devil appeared to you and said, "Okay, Ethan, you want to be like Taylor Swift, you want to be a multi-billionaire with your music, you want people to know you and buy everything, you have to start taking drugs," what would your answer be?
I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't trust I'd say, "Is this what selling my soul is?" That's what I would ask. Say, "Am I gonna sell my
Yes,
soul?"
that's exactly what selling your soul is.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
That's
I
an
would say
awesome
no.
answer because you sell your soul just for to be famous. Just like they're saying that Taylor Swift did that because she's now delving into the black arts and she's doing like witchcraft on the stage. And look at her, she's like a genius with how she is doing her music and everything about her. And so sorry that people have to put her down like that. Um, can you tell me a little bit about what your internship at Basecamp Studios is all about? Where you're recording artists at Rawthentic Studios? What's that all about?
Yeah, Glad you asked. Great question. So Rawthentic was really the first opportunity I got to record artists. Slugga is he owns it, and I'm so grateful that he gave me that opportunity just to have somewhere to record artists not at my home studio, right? And just more recently, I think about 3 months ago, I got the opportunity at Basecamp to be an intern where I'm kind of just sitting in sessions and like learning how to run everything there because it's super complex. Like it's a very complex studio, and Christian, great guy. He's taught me a lot about mixing and about how I could eventually run my own sessions there. And I was actually there last night. But yeah, I have great mentors around me, and that's something you need. Just support from people is so important. Um, and I'm just super grateful to be in the position I'm in right now.
What kind of relationships did you build at Basecamp Studios?
Absolutely. So Christian, he's the one I've been sitting in all the sessions with, but the owner, his name's Trey. They're all super cool and just they love what they do and they just really care about the music. So I guess I've learned that a big thing I'm working on is really empathy. Like you know the artist is coming in to make the best song possible. So you as the engineer should have the same mindset going in and really put everything into it just the same as they do. And um, I actually got the opportunity because my friend Matt, who I record here at my home studio, um, he was going there one day and he texted me like, "Hey, I'm going to record at Basecamp. If you want to just come watch the process and stuff." And I think from me just sitting in there and it was Christian that was recording him, and I was asking him like a ton of questions about what he was doing and stuff. And I think after that he kind of saw that I was interested, so that's what kind of got me the opportunity to be an intern there. And I'm learning so much. I'm super grateful, and everyone's super cool there. So
That's awesome. What kind of equipment do they have there?
everything. They got all the mics you could ever want. Right now we're using a Neumann TLM. It's not the 60. It might be the 67, the TLM 67. It's like a anniversary edition mic, and all the hardware they got, like compressors and stuff. They got the Tube Tech, the Neve preamp. They got so much stuff, and it's just like an engineer's dream come true. Really, it's a beautiful
That's
setup.
and how many people are there recording while you're there doing your own thing?
Yeah, I'm sitting in sessions, and I've met a few different artists, and I'm hyping them up a little bit. I'll be in there just like vibing with them, and I'm telling them like, yeah, you're killing it. Like, yeah, you're doing a great job, and I want to bring the energy. That it doesn't have to be serious. So I want to bring the energy and just have a good time in there. And I love the studio setting, so I'm enjoying myself either way. So yeah.
I love
You can
that.
bring that to your own as well.
Wait, what's that?
I said that you can also bring that to your own whenever you're doing your own thing
Right.
and everything you learn from there, and you make a whole and you put your own little style to it.
Mm-hmm. It just
Yeah,
comes down to be yourself, right? Like just be yourself.
That's it. Be yourself.
Steve, you must have a lot of nice equipment in your studio, eh?
Oh yeah, man. I got a little bit here, a little bit there, but I do a lot. I didn't really like doing the record. I like doing more producing, So it was just like but yeah, I got a keyboard, got an acoustic, I have a speaker, got a saxophone, you know. So yeah, I have the mics, of course, and I got all the, but well, that's not equipment, but yeah, so I got a few things here and there, to keep it kind of going, but everything, and also with making my beats and everything. So everything is like when I need it, I kind of go to all the different things whatever I need. Like I said, if I need the guitar, if I need the keyboard, or to make the drum sound. And I'm an actual drummer myself. And I've been playing drums for what 26 years now. So if anything, when it comes to drums on a beat, I know how I want the hi-hat, the sound, the snare, the kick, as if I was gonna be playing it myself, So yeah, it's yeah, we got some different varieties along
I didn't
from
even know
time.
that. I didn't know you
Well, there
did
you go,
drums.
Steve.
That's
There you go.
crazy.
Now,
Yeah.
Ethan, if you need to have drums on your albums, you can hire your Steve. You can
There it
hire
is.
Steve. Bat Steve.
And then I can always go to good one if I need guitar, like electric or bass or something like that. So
Yeah. Oh, and the guitar you have in the background there, is that a Fender or is that a...
that's acoustic actually.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I like that.
So
Yeah.
Again, now I didn't say I'm good at playing acoustic, but I have it. So when I need it, Goodland, I need this. So you come over, give him that, that guitar, and give me a little something I need added on it,
Yeah.
So
Well,
now everything else I can work all that. I can play the saxophone myself and all that, but as for guitar, that's not my thing. I can't do that.
Saxophone sounds so difficult.
oh yeah,
Yeah. It's I mean, once you know the notes, whatever, but it's like when you gotta read notes, it's not my thing because I grew up a percussionist, all our notes on one line, the other instruments, they got it all on different lines, all cows eat grass, the whole the chords and all the what you call it, the scales. So but music, you can just easily just put everything together, just putting everything all around. So
well, see, now there's no more news for you, Ethan, that Steve knows how to play the drums. So if you need a drummer, you can hire Steve.
It's already gonna happen regardless, So
yeah, he's we're gonna trust me, we're gonna be working together a lot more.
Yep.
We will.
I already know.
Definitely, he's gonna definitely be engineering a lot more music for him.
Yeah, so what's next for you,
I like
Ethan?
how the other one came out.
Do you have a full release coming out containing like 12, 13 songs, or what's next for you this year, 2024?
2024. Okay. For me, it's just keep working, try to make the best music I can. And I'm not really gonna put like any dates or I don't want to rush anything, I just want to keep making music and doing my thing, and the mixes will keep getting better and everything will keep getting better. And yeah, it's not worth rushing anything, music, just make it, and we love it, so just keep doing our thing.
Make the best music you possibly can. What is that? Like, what is the best music?
I was gonna say it's I guess when you say make the best music, it can I can't say what he means by it, but I know for sure, it might not be what everybody else may like, and that's always the challenge. And I've said this before, music is one of the few things where, because when we grow up, you always say it doesn't matter, don't worry about what other people think, or growing up, that's just what you always hear. Don't worry about what other people, just keep always do yourself. Don't worry about how the feelings of other people, opinions of other people. Music is one of those few things where other people's opinions determines your success of your music.
That's true.
So you have to it's one of those where you fighting where you're like, okay, you want those to like, but you also want to stick with your style. You don't want to change yourself, change your style, but yet you also I just know me personally, I just like making music that makes people feel good. That's gonna make people enjoy music, enjoy the music or the music that I made the same way I enjoyed it. So to get them to get that experience, how can I get them to enjoy it? Look, I like how this sounds, I like how this feels. Now I want other people to feel this same way. Now they may not feel the exact same way. They might hear something in that song or in that beat or whatever, that music, that touches them different than it would touch me, but just as long as it touches somebody else, the same way like it touched me some way. So you want people to like it, but at the same time you want to stick with the same thing, that your style, and still be yourself. But fortunately, if people don't listen to your music is not considered as a success. But you can still be successful to yourself. You made some music and you put it out, that is a success. But as how it's considered successful is based off of how many listeners you get, how many people like it, how many people tagging, So you kind of need, it's the fight between yourself and the opinions of others.
But stick with Steve. You're gonna come up with these beautiful, amazing songs. And that one that I don't know if you've ever met Goodland. I had him on my podcast last year, but there's a really nice song that he wrote, and I love it. But Steve's good.
Does Goodland sing? Does he sing?
I swear, that's old Goodland's album.
Goodland sings. Goodland sings.
And produces.
Say it again.
Does Goodland produce and sing?
No, he's more singing and he does background stuff. So cool. He plays instruments and he raps. He raps too. I mean, believe it or not. So he's more of a rapper than he is a singer. Mm-hmm. But the Stuck in December kind of was one that ended up hitting a little bit more, and he kind of talking, singing. I don't know how you describe that, Chris. Stuck in December was more of a
Stuck in December is a song you listen to at Christmas time.
Yeah. So I guess it's singing and it's talk singing, I guess you can say what that is. So yeah.
Yeah. But it's a great song otherwise, Ethan. I feel that he's got more music inside him. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more from Ethan. But when your songs release on Spotify and all these platforms, I'm kind of curious about what your ideas and your thoughts are on artificial intelligence. Like, how do you feel the internet has impacted music business with AI? So how do you feel about that?
AI and music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too worried about it. I think the human touch you can't really replicate. Like, you can hear all the AI songs of like, they got like Juice WRLD AI songs and stuff like that, and it's just nowhere near. Maybe one day in like 2100, there's like artists that just give the AI their voice and the AI just makes a beautiful song for them and they just start putting it out instead of actually performing their own stuff. But then it's like, why are you an artist in the first place if you don't actually want to make music? So I don't see it really. I'm not worried about it. But there is AI with like plugins, like mastering AI and stuff, and I use it a little bit, and I think it's good, but you let it do its thing, and then can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So you always end up still putting your touch on it at the end of the day. So I'm not worried about AI.
So
yeah.
It's
AI. It's that's one of those. I don't know how long it will last or stick, but it is a thing right now. So I don't know. Ain't nothing like the actual, like Ethan said, it's like, why get into the business of music if you're not going to actually do the singing yourself? So I mean, like, it's no point.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's almost like buying a car and then saying like, well, I'm gonna get a blow up dummy to drive it every time. And what you bought the car for?
Right.
I mean, you're not going to drive it. It's the whole purpose of, So it's like, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to stick.
I don't know. Like, Ethan, how do your life experiences, personal or global events influence your songwriting? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Definitely life events. putting life events into my music. That's like the whole last EP is lately. It's what I've been going through. And yeah, I love the idea of documenting your life in a song and being able to look back on it and be like, oh wow, I was going through that. Or I remember making that song. I was going through that. And there's beauty in it, you know, definitely.
So during the pandemic, what kind of song would that be?
The pandemic,
Those were
I
bad
feel
days,
like,
you
yeah,
know.
I was super uninspired at that time. There were people making great music still, kinda. A lot of people were just talking about like COVID and stuff. You know, Eminem was talking all about COVID, and yeah, uh, uninspired times for sure. Not really knowing what to talk about, and that was still at the time where I feel like my music wasn't as genuine or vulnerable. So it was definitely just a lot of stuff that I would hate to hear today. I would hate to hear those songs probably.
Let's say your girlfriend's name is Daisy, and she was your last girlfriend, and you had a relationship with her, a strong relationship. You were close, and then suddenly she's gone. Would that song Daisy have the same impact as it was when you were with her than without?
No, I think you might just have a different perspective hearing it. So I don't think it would make it a bad song to you. Maybe it would. Maybe I just haven't experienced that. But I don't think it would make it a bad song. I think you would just have a different perspective and maybe you could see more clearly like, oh, I was wrong about this or I was just wrong or you would have a different perspective. It kind of be cool to go back and see where you were and what you were thinking.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's interesting.
Do your family or friends play a role in influencing or inspiring your music besides Steve here, of course?
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Definitely my friends because that's who I'm with like every day. And a lot of times I like shout them out in songs and stuff. But my family definitely has too because uh they've allowed me to become a more genuine instead of trying to rap about things that are cool or like trying to sound cool. They made me realize like, okay, I have to really like be myself as much as I can in the song because they're listening. So I can't be any type of I can't be doing any fake, any anything that's not myself. Like it has to be completely genuine if they're listening. So everyone around me definitely has influenced it, and it's taken a little time, you know, to find myself as an artist and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's a lot to learn to become a good artist. You have to really there's a lot. It takes a lot of reflecting and self analyzing and but yeah, I think everyone goes through it. All artists go through it.
I do agree with you, Ethan. Like, what about emotions like joy or sorrow or anger? Does that influence your creative process?
Definitely. Um, However I'm feeling is how the song will come out, you know? And I think I really like emotional songs more than maybe just like hype or like party songs or something like I like tapping into that emotional side just because that's the type of songs I like to listen to. So I think you make the songs that you like to listen to. Like when I'm making a song, I'm gonna make something that I would like to listen to. So I definitely tap into that a lot. Um, that sad side, I like it. But then you of course you gotta do songs that make you feel good too. You know, it just depends how you feel. Music is all feeling. You know,
Yeah,
it's
it
all
is.
feel. So you can't really think too hard into it or anything. You just do what feels right. Like I started music based on a feeling. Like it just felt like, oh, I want to start making music. I couldn't really describe why or why I do it or anything, but it's all feeling. So
Really appreciate this interview. Thank you for being on the platform today. Can you give us a few words before we end?
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a great experience. Um, First ever interview, so hopefully it turned out good. Hopefully people receive it well, and yeah, I'm just super grateful. So thank you.
Yep, and we will link everything down below, especially Daisy and the other songs are pretty good. How about you, Steve? Any last words?
Oh man, it's just it's gonna be more. There's more coming, more coming. So you gonna see me on here again if Chris allows me to come back on. I mean, you
Yep.
know, but yeah, just stay on the lookout. More music coming. Premax Records, and you know, you can find us on all the platforms. And Ethan, you know, we gonna keep working together some more. And what's your Instagram?
Mixed by Blick at Mixed by Blick.
Yeah, Mixed by Blick. Yeah. So yeah, y'all can find them all that. And also also with some of the other artists that I'm working with, trying to bring them here with you too, Chris, man, so you can meet them. So just trying to grow, man, just grow this family, and where we can, you know, and then eventually, like what Ethan said, where they start featuring on each other's songs, and you know, this and that, and we just keep growing and growing and growing. So
Yep.
I just say, like, to everybody out there, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and a happy holiday, and wish everybody just peace and well.
Thank you so much. And one thing too, Ethan, just because you're on the podcast once doesn't mean that's it. Like, you can come on as many times as you want. Steve, this is already a second time, on third, fourth, fifth time if you want. So there's no limit. It's not like, oh, you've been on twice. Sorry, we don't have enough. You have to pay. You know, it doesn't. It's not like that. So you're
But
welcome
you
to
gotta
come back on.
answer me back though, Chris. Sometimes you don't you be ignoring me.
Uh-oh.
I don't ignore you. It just took me a while to respond to your email, but I responded to you. You sent an email, and then 5 months later, I said, "Oh, hi, Steve."
5 months later. You know he said 5 months later, right, Ethan?
I
He
don't
tried to
5
know.
slip
months.
that in. He tried to
Right
slip
in.
it
I
in
could
real
have had
quick.
the whole EP recorded. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't need to advertise an artist EP, and then by then
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm on
I'll
the
tell you
second
what,
artist
Steve.
now.
I'll send you an email once every day for the rest of your life. How about that? No, you're
All
right.
right, I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna hold you
I
to it.
gotta
And
keep.
and the
Yeah,
first day you miss, I'm gonna say, Chris, man, and get my email.
yeah. So, Ethan, so you haven't seen enough. You know, you haven't. Don't worry. You get a chance to be on again. And Steve, yeah, let's keep communicating. I mean, I apologize for that, but you know, sort of like I.
I
But
didn't
you
already
just
worked
it's
on two artists. I didn't work on two artists since then. I was like, oh, now you know me. All right, I see.
yeah.
But no, no, I understand, man. I mean, you're steady growing. Your podcast is growing as well, man. And I'm
Appreciate
happy
that,
for
man.
you, man. It's good to see that
Thanks.
you know, seeing like some of the stuff you had before, and seeing what you're growing as well, and seeing that you're bringing more artists and
Hmm.
growing and giving them platforms. And so it's just, I appreciate you, man, myself. So, yeah,
Thanks,
just keep doing
brother.
what you're doing. Stay funky, comedia. How you say it?
Spunk, yeah, funky. Shoot, what's that? Funky Cold
It,
Medina.
yeah, funky
Funky
comedia.
Cold Medina. Remember that song, Ethan? Funky Cold Medina.
It's the same guy who did the song Wild Things. I don't know if you heard that song.
Yeah. Wild
Is
thing. Yeah.
is it called Funky Cole Medina? Is that what it's
It's
Yeah,
called
called?
Funky
yeah.
Cold Medina. Yeah. Really good
And that
song.
same guy, he played in Ace Ventura. He was in the movie Ace Ventura. He was the guy who
So,
Oh,
I think he was his partner, huh? Like Ace's he worked in the wasn't he in Ace
is
Ventura?
it Tone Lock?
yeah, Tone Loc.
Tone
Yes,
Lock? Tone
yes,
Tone
Loc?
Loc. Yeah.
yeah. He was
Yeah.
in Ace Ventura.
Like high five. High five. So, um, yeah. So what else was I going to say? Yeah, that's it. So I appreciate this.
Thank you so
I
much,
will.
Bruce.
You're very welcome, Ethan. That's good. Okay, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Jay, Steve, and Ethan Hickey out.